Okay, we are live. All right. Okay, super. We are live here. I'm super excited about this topic because objections are one of this is kind of sound weird, but when I started in sales many years ago, I was in a training in sales, and I was working part-time because I was going to college at the same time. And then they have a class about objections at least once a week. And where I was working, I was selling books door to door. Imagine, part time. When people used to do that, now books, people say, "What is a book again?" Well, but and that was part time. I was with a friend of mine that was also going to college, and we were taking like an hour a day or something like that, knocking at doors. But it became my favorite class. Actually, it was like a game to me. When somebody had an objection, say, "Oh, I have an answer!" Yeah. Of course, at the beginning, probably my answer were terrible, but because many times I think I cause the objections because I want to have the objections. That sounds weird. But anyway, it became one of my favorite parts on doing presentations and objections. But at the same time, because I was 18 years old and 19 years old, I sometimes on purpose create arguments to create the objection. No good idea, by the way. But that was I probably because I was in the debate team in high school and things like that, and I like to debate at the time. Still, I am. You have not seen me in that way yet, ever. I hope not, because I can get very aggressive. But that's cool. It's a fun. I make it fun. It doesn't. It's not aggressive. But anyway, yeah, objections are part of our business, and actually are part of life. We have objections or anything. Usually, objections are excuses. Many times, actually, are excuses because people don't want to say no, and they throw a weird objection, or sometimes seems like a normal objection, a real objection, but many times are really just excuses because most people, and depend on the area, but most people don't kind of try to be nice. But depend on the area. If you are in some cities in the Northeast, people are very direct. They don't like something and they tell you, nope, I don't like you. I don't like anything. I don't like your nose. They go straight to an objection. But there are other parts, especially the South, the Center, and part of the West Side. People are more friendly and they try to be more polite. Um, but objection part, and I'm going to share my screen in a second. Make sure I have the presentation right. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. Share it. Okay. Oops, I had to get rid of that in the screen. I cannot see. All right. Now, first, I'm going to start with the DMO because I like to remember that this is a business is a process. You have all in your list. First, you connect with your list, then you present, and then you follow up. And at the time that you do the presentation, the follow-up, those two times is when most of the objections come up. Although they also come when you connect because somebody you connect somebody and you're so excited telling about what you found. That person says, "Oh, I don't have time." That's an objection. It's why the objection can come in any of the three, but most common is in the present and in follow-up. It also happens a lot in the connection. Okay, objections, like red cards in soccer. I don't know. Many people think, oh, an objection, I'm out of the game, but that's not the case. Now, it's interesting because there are only two types of objections: limiting belief about self and limiting belief about network marketing. I would say the business in general. This is something that Eddie Worre I went to a training just about objections years ago. Actually, it was two things: prospecting and objections. And he had probably the whole afternoon was about objections, and he was proving how the limited belief actually many, many times cause objections. The more we connect with people that have not had success in something in the past, they think that they are not going to have success in the future. That's why usually we said just connect with people like you and up, because people that believe like you, because if you are in this, it's because you believe in the potential and up. People usually that are below in their belief system below what we believe many times, the limitations are going to go in those two places, by the way, beliefs and that they can do the business, and then beliefs about themselves. But anyway, let me see. When objections come up, make sure you don't get defensive. Sometimes we get defensive. And when I was, like I say, I like to, or offensive in my case. When I was starting an 18, 19-year-old, I kind of become offensive in the sense that I was attacking the objection like if I was in war. Question and objection are there to test you. So keep your posture. Posture strong and confident. Oh, came in a different line. Ask them, what do you mean by that? To be sure you are absolutely clear, because this is important. When a person say anything, oh, I don't have the time. What do you mean by that? Because you want to make sure that the person is telling you time, they don't have the time for this specific. And also they may tell you why they don't have the time. Or I don't know why I came to place. Oh, let me start again. You have to be clear about what the objection is. It's why it's so important that you ask, what do you mean by that? Now, the field fail found is a great way to answer any objection, but you don't have to use it all the time, because if the person has like 4 objections and you're answering the same way, the person say, okay, this sounds like a stage. However, it's great. For example, no time. I know how you feel. I felt the same way until I found that by working with our team leaders, I just refer and collect. What I mean by this, I have a person in the team, in the company I was before, and the company I was very several years, was somebody that was in our team. I didn't bring that person, but somebody else brought it into the business. And that person told us that he didn't have any time at all. But the guy has so many connections that we said, I remember when I think I said, okay, do you like the product? So of course, do you see the potential of the product, of the business? Yeah, I see it. It's just that I don't have at all time. And the person was super busy at the time. And I said, well, just if you feel that the product works and the business is good, who do you know? We start asking, who do you know? And it's interesting because this guy eventually left his business, normal business, because he became a millionaire in our business. And he started referring and collecting. I call it refer and collect. Refer somebody, you make money. Refer another person, you make money. And that's a great way to, especially people that are really busy. Because remember, before we ask the person, what do you mean by that? They are going to tell you, and they say, whoa, this person really is busy. But if you know the person has a great number of connections, you want that person with you. The other one, no money. I know how you feel. I felt the same way until I found out that if, I don't know why I had the off. If I did not do this, I will always have the same excuse. And it's true. Now, remember, you started with before. What do you mean by not having money? Yeah, it's why it's so important. Those two don't go together. What I said before and this. The next one is a pyramid. I know how you feel. I felt the same way until I found out that this model has existed for more than 60 years with billions in sales worldwide. It's true. Network marketing, actually, probably more than 60 years. The first company was in 1940, and after World War II, I think it was 49. Actually, when you see it's more than 70 years, more than 80 years, I have to change that. But this is a model that's been around for so long. A pyramid doesn't last so long. It would be illegal already. Look at Shackley. Shackley is probably the oldest network marketing company that's big. They started in 1955. 1955. How many people in this call were born in 1955? Probably a couple of us, but that's it. And now, an Amway that we heard a lot about bad things about Amway. If Amway was really a bad thing, it's just that many people don't have success and they have to blame somebody. And it's a tough pay plan, I have to say. And I don't like their approach, but it's a real company. They've been around since 1958. I mean, we are talking about companies that are way more than 50 years old. But and then now, okay, let me go back here. And you can use it with anything. Oh, I have to talk to my husband, or I had to talk to my wife. Oh, I know how you feel. I felt the same way until I found out that this is so powerful that, yeah, let's talk. By the way, there's a way to connect directly if you don't like this, but this is an example that I know how you feel. I felt the same way until I found out. It's amazing. By the way, it's amazing when you are talking to your kids. Let's suppose one of your kids say, "Oh no, this happened in the school," and if you jump trying to solve the problem, they usually get defensive. They say, "Oh, I know how you feel. I felt the same way until I found out because something that happened to you." This is a great tool for communication. Okay, the next one. Okay, let me move this because I don't see it in my screen. That's weird. Okay. All right, now I can see it. And the scale of, oh, shoot, hold on, let me see. Okay, this isn't the time. Are you telling me that you don't any have many because you don't have interest at this time? This is once they give you any answer that you saw before on the scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about reaching your goal? Now, when I say your goal, it's because these objections come after you are doing a presentation. If they are coming after a presentation, and if you know the goal, what the person wants to do, say, if is it that serious about your goal? Are you really don't have any, or you really don't have any money or time? Are you just telling me that you don't have any money because you don't have interest at this time? You want to make sure that the person is directly. Now, again, keep it friendly. Don't sound like you are accusing or blaming them. Make sure. But this is very important to again find out if there's a real excuse or there's something a real problem or really just an excuse. Now, here's an example of objection one. I'm very busy. I don't have enough time. It's really about their time? Well, how much time do you have? Let them reply whatever they say. Great, perfect. Or remember the answer that I had before at first? Cash. You just have to refer and then you collect. And then, or you can have, well, if you really don't have any time, you may need at least something like what I have, more than you might think. Curious, do you have a plan to eventually change that? By the way, this is so powerful. Curious, do you have a plan to eventually change that? That works on so many objections. People say, I don't have money. Gee, do you have a plan to eventually change that? I don't have time. Curious, do you have a plan to eventually change that? I realized that I have to change, correct some little grammars, but anyway, I don't have money to get started. Okay, response could be, if you don't have the money to start this business, it is probably the exact reason you need to get started. My mentor told me that if nothing changes, nothing changes. You don't want to be in the same situation 6 months from now that you're now. Again, you can use the one that I say, I know how you feel, I feel the same way, or is it that you are serious about the business and you really don't have any money? Or are you just telling me that you don't have any money because you don't have any interest at this time? You're being super direct here. The reason, all this, by the way, is going to be accessible for you, and I'm going to and shout that you can read it. Now, if they really don't have the money, but they are dead serious, plug them in any way with the minimum. And this is very important because you don't know who they know. If they are serious, they are probably willing to do whatever it takes. Something I say that I didn't put here, when a person say, I don't have the money, say, find it anyway. Find it. It's very important, even if it's the minimum to get in. Well, because think about this. I know, and I know all of us have been in situations that even $5 sounds very strong, but when somebody had the objection, I had it. When I started in business, I didn't want to tell my upline that I didn't have the money because I thought, or the person that was prospecting me at the time, I was not a distributor, because I thought if I don't come with a big package, this person is going to believe that I'm a loser. Now, I didn't have any money at all, cash, maybe $20 is what was left over or whatever I was doing. And what I did, I sold my microwave, I sold my TV, and I borrowed $300 from my first prospect that happened to be my boss and one of the 3 jobs that I have. And the reason I did that to complete a package that was called the Paysetter package, but that was in 1992, was about $1,000. That today, those $1,000. That was at the time when a minimum salary was $4.50. Today is $12 or something like that. Imagine 3 times less. It's like 3 times more the money. It would be like $3,000. I didn't tell my the upline or the person who sponsored me. I was excited about the business. I was willing to do whatever it takes, and that's why I borrowed that money, and I sold my microwave and I sold my TV. I didn't have anything else to sell. If not, I would have sold it, and I was ready to give blood to if I couldn't find those $300 extra that I still was short. But there are times that people really don't have the money. One of the guys that I sponsored, he became one of the top income earners in my organization. He was so broke. He was with his girlfriend. He went to the store to buy some stuff. Just he has enough stuff for basically eat or money to eat that day and the following day. And then he went to the store, and then he decided to buy a lottery ticket, $2 lottery ticket, and he made $500. And then around that time, the person that sponsored called him and told about our business. And he was thinking, hold on a second, $500 that I need to start completing my rent. And by the way, it was $995 that Paysetter program, $1,000. Or how do I do? The guy decided to use those $500 of the lottery ticket and the money that he got at the end of the week to complete the rent to get into the business. Now, this guy went in action, massive action. By the end of the month, he had made like $2,000 or $3,000. That was enough to pay his rent. At the time, it was like $1,000 a month. He was living in Florida. And he had extra money, and eventually he became one of my first six-figure income earners in that company. He was the second one, actually. You never know. I need to talk to my spouse and partner. I totally understand. And is that you are serious about the business and you really do run all decisions by your spouse, or are you just telling me that because you are not serious about starting a business? Because again, many times it's an excuse. Okay, then let's talk to basically you say, let's talk to your spouse. Let's add it to the groups or or whatever you want. Let's set up a chat book, text or a messenger or your messenger, whatever you want. Let me think about that. I totally understand it. Is that you are serious about this business and you really need to think about it? Or are you telling me that because you are not serious about starting a business at this time? Or, great, most people want to take time to think about the decision before making it. Can I ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you stand right now? How do I make it a 10? Oh, I would make it a 10. How much money are you making? Okay, this was, there are many ways. I did write one here that was very powerful that actually Mark General told me, one of my first upline. I forgot to put that. First, I don't know. I'm not done making money yet. That means it's you're getting paid already. That's one. If you are getting paid already, because really you are getting paid consistently because you get paid for what you did yesterday. Or I'm just starting. I'm not doing this for the short-term income. I'm building this for the long-term. Or you wouldn't believe me if I told you and you start laughing. Or the one that Mark Janelle told me, I'm not making much money. That's why I'm talking to you, because you and I together can make a lot of money. I have to add that one there. I always forget. And then people say, what do you mean? And they don't ask you again about how much money you're making. All I know, there are people above me that are making thousands of dollars a day, because it was true in Nuskin. I was in Nuskin. One of my uplines, no, my sponsor, Mark Barry, was making over $100,000 a month. And of course, that's $3,000 a day. And I was saying that. I said, I'm not making money. That's why I'm calling you. Let's do this together. Mark General is doing it with his friends. Well, I want to do it with you. I was serious about that. I don't have time. Okay, I already have it twice. Okay. What do you mean by pyramid? Oh, we are definitely, by the way, any of the two, what do you mean by pyramid exactly? Because most people, really, they have the wrong idea. they say, well, Pyramid, you make money this way. No, I'm glad we are not that, or we are definitely not that. We have a real product that people love. Have you had a chance to see how it works? That's if the person have not seen the presentation yet. Now, I'm going to get out of here for a second. Okay, I'm going to open to everybody here because I'm going to show you, this is going to be online, but there's going to be a resource I'm going to share in a second, where probably you're going to have 99% of the objections. By the way, I was playing with AI. It's actually a skill that is costly. It's why I prefer to use as the question, but it's an AI system where any question that I ask, they responded for any kind of business, including network marketing and AI. I've been testing it, but it's expensive. Why when I mean it's over $1,000 or something. It's why, but this AI, what does is just it's not necessary for more stuff that we do, but it's cool when you ask questions and respond. Now, there's an AI that's free, it's GPT, Chat GPT, that probably some of you already heard, or Genesis. I have those that are free, but they are not specific for network marketing, although you can ask questions, etc. But it's better to use the one that for people that have been successful in network marketing. And this is a guy that is using, building a whole system on top of an AI just to respond questions about network marketing. Although the guy's charging too much, in my opinion, because it's mostly for questions like that. I say, well, I can answer those questions without having an AI. But anyway, there's a really cool source that I have that I'm going to share with you at the end. But anyway, anybody has an objection that you didn't see in those six? I think 6 or 7, because those are the most common. But there are many other ones that appear too. But the most common are those. Anybody has any objection that you want to mention here?
I think the hardest one is when they just don't talk to you anymore. They
The
see
what?
the hardest objection is the one where they don't speak to you anymore.
Yeah, in other words, you call back and they ghost you?
Yeah, especially if they've already seen the presentation. They're like, ooh, I want to do this. I'm so excited. I want to join you. And then you never hear from them again. You try everything you can to reach out.
Well, and that's normal. It's ghost that happen in everything. Everything. How many of you went in a date, called a person the next time, and they never respond to you? Even that person, I had the best day with you when you were a kid. I'm talking about. I had the best day. I will never forget you. And then they forgot you right away. Yeah, that happened in everything. That's why I don't worry about that. That's why we have to keep connecting, because we are looking for people that really. And by the way, remember at the beginning I said there are 2 reasons people are have objections: people that they believe in themselves, they have problems, or believe in the business or network marketing. In this case, it's a person that probably has a very good chance that does not believe in themselves, because a person that doesn't tell you, oh, sorry, I cannot do, they probably have a very low self-esteem. I hate to say that. Maybe there are exceptions, but that can happen. Okay, sometimes they say I'm not a salesperson. With the field fell found, it's so cool. I know you feel. I felt the same way when I found out most salespeople fail in this business. But it's true. People that are high pressure sales, they have a problem here because they don't understand that this is a process of sharing. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find the second.
Hey, George.
Yeah, go ahead.
Something that I found that's helped me kind of, I want to say, be mentally tougher. When you have somebody that sees the program and then doesn't talk to you, or they say they're excited, follow up with me tomorrow, and all you can do is dial the phone. So what I've done that seems to be helping this is, as I'm talking to them initially before they've actually seen the program, I ask them, I say, I want to have 2 hours of your time, because you would investigate a business and it would take a couple of hours or more. So just know that I'm going to bug you for 2 hours of your time. once you've seen this. And that seems to get people, okay,
Mhm.
you know.
I agree. And that's a
It
posture.
makes them make a commitment.
Yes. And that's the posture that you have. And people say, whoa, this guy's serious. Well, let's do it. Something about the salesperson. Remember the one about time when they say, oh, you just refer and you collect. How hard is that? Refer people. We help you to build it and collect. Now, let me show you something. It's going to be like a peek preview of something that is going to be on the shout. All right, here. You see, I know a salesperson. Do you see how many responses are there?
It's great.
Okay, you are going to have access to that. That's something that I'm going to reveal at the end of the presentation. That's why if you are not in the presentation, you're going to be in trouble. Oh, you're here. Good. Yes. Any other, because I know a salesperson, in my case, I came from the sales world. It's why many people say, oh yeah, but you were in real estate, you sold books, you did this, you did that, you sold perfumes. I probably was not very good about that because our company crashed. That was my company. I create products with a friend of mine. He was a chemist and he was the producer. I was the marketer. But we ran out of money. We didn't realize we needed so much money. But I have enough perfume to give for people in Christmas for like 7 years or something like that. And we smell very good too. Any other objection?
George, I wrote it in the chat. A lot of people say these products are too expensive.
Mhm.
So what do you
Okay.
say when they say that?
Compare with what? And by the way, I was curious when somebody about car and everything say, oh, this car is more expensive compared to what?
Yeah, I like that. It's so short and sweet
Yeah.
and to the point. I love that. Thank you.
That's
Oh,
a
you're
good
welcome.
one
That's what.
because they haven't even looked at anything yet, and they're like, "That's too."
Yeah, I know. Compared to what? And they say, oh, well, I bought these vitamins in Walmart. Oh, I'm so sorry for you.
Right.
No, you don't say.
And then what? So then they say, yeah. So then they say that, and then you're not. I like to say you're not comparing apples to apples. You're
No.
just not.
Yeah,
So-
that's why I always say compared to what, because and that's something that I learned even before sales. Is just, well, I don't know if it was coming natural because some people say, "Oh, gee, this is expensive, or this is so." They say compared to what? Maybe because that's my analytical mind. I say, "Well, what are you comparing to? Compared to what?" Yeah, go ahead, Erin.
I often will get, well, I'm really into health. I'm very proactive. I take a lot of supplements. And I said, so how's that working for you? I want to know, what are the results you're getting? Do you have a favorite product? Is there something that really works for you?
Right.
Well, I'm still, well, what if I had an answer to help you with that? What if I could fill the gap for what's missing in the results that you're hoping to get that you obviously haven't got so far?
Yes. You know that teenagers sometimes don't have brains. I'm talking about kids. One of my daughters bought her own vitamin. It was a liquid vitamin, but it was in the middle. It was not even good. It was average, And then she started saying, oh, I found a vitamin that's better than anything I've seen in my life. She for some reason, when we showed her something that is good, she rejected because that's her mindset. And I said, wow, compared to what? Oh, what compared to everything? Really? Oh, how that compared with ours? She got totally, when people get confused sometimes when I go up and the other one down, she didn't know what to say. They say, oh, just make the comparison, tell me later. Yeah, I did it with my own daughter. And this was like a week ago.
George, hope you didn't feel like a failure.
It's not like that.
Communicating the message, but keep in mind they are teenagers.
Yeah, they are teenagers. Even that she's 18 already and she believed that she's an adult. Okay. Still 18 years old. Okay. Any other one? Because I want to hear from you, all the ones that you see that are really common. And some of them uncommon. Once in a while, something comes. I don't remember any right now, but sometimes somebody says something that's totally off the wall I never heard in my life.
I had one the other day that was really hilarious because she's been on a Zoom presentation. She loved it. She said, "Oh, my husband won't let me do this." And then she's posting about how she feels like trash. And I messaged her and I said, "You might want to look at this one more time so you can start feeling better." "Oh no, I'm using something that the doctor asked me to take." And then she posts a few minutes later that she's taking Benadryl.
Oh,
Well, first of all, it's the mindset. But when somebody say my spouse doesn't let me to do this, and say, "Are you happy about it?" I'm really serious.
Are you happy about it?
Yeah, that he or she doesn't let you do it. Say, okay, let's talk to him or to her, in case it's a wife. Yeah, because I don't know if Irene was in that meeting. We were doing a meeting in Utah years ago in isogenics, and we were doing a presentation in a restaurant. We have lunch in Spaghetti Mama. It was
oh
in
yeah,
Spaghetti Mama.
I
And
remember
in one
them
of the
well.
meetings, we were talking about the dreams, etc. And I don't remember. We asked the question, if money was an object and you have all the time, what would you do? And the dreams. And I was asking questions, and then a woman said, "Oh, I don't have dreams. My husband doesn't let me dream."
Oh, I remember that. And you just about your
And
jaw dropped.
Yeah, I used that on the lady I was telling you about. And she's like, "Well, he's too busy. He won't get on nothing."
And of course, because what's that? And I said, "Whoa!" I had to remember a sentence like that. Are you doing any? I think I said, "Are you doing anything to change that?" And she was like a blank. I didn't know her because she was a guest of somebody. That was the only thing that came from my mind. But I was ready to say a whole thing. I say that it sounds like she is in some kind of weird relationship. I think you're just like, "Oh my God, that's true." No, I didn't say it, by the way. I said it in my mind. I didn't
Well,
say that publicly. You can say it.
Sometimes, don't you think, George, you've told us this before, don't you feel like maybe it's not the right time for them? You put them on your back burner list, you go
Yes.
back to them later. Circumstances have an effect on how people respond to propositions. And the other thing is you don't have time to waste.
Mm-mm.
Just say next and go to the next person, but then go back to that other point you made earlier.
Yeah.
If you don't think this is the right time or the right thing for you, do you know somebody that would be open to this?
Yeah. By the way, something that Tyra said that's very funny. Great. After you sign up her, find a divorce lawyer. That's really
Y'all,
funny.
such a bad jokester. I don't know if I could handle that like any other way than to like crack something.
I would do it. I want to do it.
Awkward moment, when
Yeah.
somebody says that, it's like
No,
obviously there's some issues in the relationship.
yeah, and I think it took a little while to get my composure back to the question. I don't know. I asked other people, obviously, but I was thinking, I never had the chance to talk to her. She was somebody guest, and by the time I finished the presentation, she left. I don't know what happened to her. I've never seen her again. But I asked the person that brought her.
She's probably locked up somewhere. She's poor lady.
In the closet.
I feel so
George,
My ex used to
call
say
the
that if you don't
authorities.
pay the bill, you're going to be put in the closet. We're divorced now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Adrian's looking for something. Oh, any other one, because I love to hear something that is weird, that really. If it's not weird, when I mean weird, they start looking for something weird, even if it's normal objection. I say weird because we already covered the main ones.
George,
Yeah.
sometimes we have to make sure we know.
Hold on just a second. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. What did you say? I couldn't
We
hear.
need to make sure we understand who the person is we're talking to.
Yes.
Some people need to have a more simplistic approach. There's other people I would never show the comp plan to in its entirety and all the details. If it's a seasoned network marketer, that's a different story.
Yeah.
You need to know who your prospect is. And that's why
Yeah.
it's so important when we bring a new person to the table who said, yeah, I'll take a look at it. You want to find out some information, form them.
Yeah.
So you
Well, the
have,
thing that I didn't have any information about the woman because that's the beginning of the presentation.
Yeah.
You had dreams. What would you do? And I was so very was
Absolutely.
excited, jumping up and down, etc. And then she answered that way. I say, "What?"
that's why if you have a
You never
meeting,
know.
if you have a meeting, whether it's in a restaurant for lunch or in your home or somewhere else, if you're bringing somebody, you should let the person that's the presenter know a little bit about the people that you're sharing it with. So they have
Yes.
some preparation.
But I don't know if even the person that brought her knew that her husband didn't allow her to do something. And that's something so private that many people don't say it. It's why it's very tough. And in a meeting, at the time that we were having 10 or 15 guests, it's hard to interact with everybody. It's why it's, but definitely, okay, sometimes sometimes they use a spouse as an excuse and never talk to a spouse. Yeah, that's true. And that's why I say, are you serious that you have to talk to your husband or to your wife? I always ask the question directly because then I'm going to see the real truth of this. But definitely, yeah, something that Mary said is very true. We have to know our audience, who we are talking to. It's like going to a group of Spanish speaking and you speak only English. That doesn't make sense. Or the other way around.
Good point.
But yeah, yeah, you have to know the audience, where you are going, etc., and the people that you are talking to. I remember the first time that I did a presentation in Spanish. I'm going to answer that one. Most of them were migrant workers that went to a school for English as a second language. And this was in northern Florida. And the woman that owned the school was a private school. She was in my organization, and she was one of my fastest growing. But she said, I want to help all these migrant workers. I never done a presentation in Spanish. I learned network marketing in English. And then translated was kind of weird. Even though I speak Spanish, it was kind of weird because if you translate exactly the way that it's written, sometimes it doesn't make sense at all. The same way the other way around. Sometimes I was telling jokes, for example, that were in Spanish were very funny, but when you translate it, don't make sense. The same the other way around. But anyway, the same. I did a presentation, was terrible because I didn't knew my audience very well. I didn't know that most of them were really, really, really poor, uneducated. Many of them barely read and write, and everything went over their heads. When I was talking about making more money, they were saying, I can have my 3 kids working with me a lot of hours and we can make more money. I'm thinking, okay, I guess they were not right. They were not the right audience because that was not the mindset. And it's why Jimmy Smith, for those of you that Jimmy Smith say, you are going to create an NBA team, you don't go to a swimming pool to find people. You go to a college where people play basketball. And that's the same, is knowing the audience. What is the audience? That there is people that really have they want to, they understand. It's why when I say you talk to people like you or beyond now, there are people many times that they're in a very bad shape and they are looking to come up. But most people, doesn't matter where you go to the worst locations in the planet trying to build this business. You're not going to have as much success because most people have a mindset already. It's the mindset. It's not the person's mindset. There are always people that come out of that mindset. That's why many times we heard stories of people that live in the worst conditions and the worst ghetto, and they became multimillionaires, etc. But not everybody think like that. The chances are very small. Here is, I'm too old to start over. And say, I know how you feel. I felt the same way until I found out this guy, 75 years old, broke, former butcher. This guy didn't have even high school education, and from 75 to 95, he made $100 million. I'm talking about Jimmy Smith. That was my sponsor in the other company. 75. And that is why I told him always, you have to write a book before you decide to go somewhere else. Because that's an incredible story. It will affect my Social Security. Depends. Again, by the way, if a person is, I think, 65 and up, it doesn't affect your Social Security anymore, as if you are collecting earlier, by the way. But you can create a company. And okay, that goes to, I have so much sick to get disability. All right. I was in a meeting in Florida too, and there we were talking about the potential, etc. In the middle of the pay plans, a guy got up and left, but his wife stayed. And then when the meeting finished, the wife was talking about the product, etc. And went out to see if the guy was outside. He was outside smoking, by the way. And I said to the guy, "Hey, how you doing, etc." He asked me, "Do you really can make a lot of money in this business?" Oh yeah, yeah. People are making incredible amount of money. Oh, and then I can't do it. Why? Oh, I have a $900 disability check that if I start doing business and I start making money, they don't pay me. And I'm thinking, hold on a second, can make thousands. And then Kennedy, a friend of mine, the one that I told you was very broke, that got the lottery ticket, etc. He was making like $15,000 a month. That was monthly. They pay us monthly in that company. And then one time he's in his condominium and he opened his mailbox, and there was another guy mailbox, and he was say, "Oh, I chance to prospect this guy," because he got his check and he opened it was like $15,000. And then the other guy is coming up and he said, "Hey, how you doing? Great. How I just received a check with a lot of money." And the guy said, "Oh, me too." He had a disability check for about $1,200 that he opened. And the guy didn't look disabled. He said it was a guy in the 20s, late 20s, early 30s. And 1,200, oh, mine is for 15,000. How do you do that? Oh, no, I can't do that in a business because I lose this $1,200 check.
Oh my gosh.
15,000, 1,200.
Well, sometimes you can't fix, you guys fill it in.
Yeah, well, I get it a lot out here because in my area, there's a lot of old people. Lots.
It's interesting. Oh, sorry. What do you say, Camille, at the end?
I said I get it all the time. I'd rather go with what insurance pays me for. It will affect my Social Security, or I need to stay sick as much as possible so I can get my disability.
Yeah. Yes.
The people here are really, really old. They have that old mindset. And,
yes.
I paid into it. I want to get it back.
Yeah, that's why know your option, your people, the people that you are talking. But at the same time, you're going to find people that are different because, like, again, an example of Jimmy Smith. I mean, 75 years of age, and even when I called him to congratulate him to happy birthday, he was his 96th birthday, 96. I say, "Hey, how are you doing, Jimmy?" "Great. I'm going to be going to Montreal to do a presentation." How many people have that attitude? There are people that are in the 30s and they don't have that attitude. That's an example. But anyway, before we go, I'm going to show you this. Okay, you see this. Sample scripts. These are interesting. I'm going to post it. You see, I don't have time for network marketing. We didn't talk about that, but that's mostly time. I don't have money to get started. Well, here is tons of ways. Only people at the top make money. You're going to hear that once in a while, although I have not heard it in a long time. I already have got a good job. How much money are you making? We talk about that. I want to try the product first. By the way, that's an objection, even that we don't see it like that, but it is. I know that type of person, the same thing that if you are not a salesperson, that's the next one. I don't want to book my friends and family. That you're going to hear that. Actually, yesterday, somebody texted me that was talking to somebody that said that doesn't want to talk to their family. And there are many ways, but I'm going to tell you, actually, I'm going to tell you a funny one right now. To say, okay, you prefer then to share this to people to get healthier and make more money with strangers than your family? I just asked the question. I don't know anyone. That's so easy to break today with social media. Will it work for me? Well, if you work for it, basically. I don't like rejection. I mean, I don't know anything about this business. Well, that's dumb because when you get in something new, obviously, sounds to be good to be true. That one used to come up very in the 90s a lot. I don't know why I don't hear as much. I need to think about, we talk about that. I need to check with my spouse. I need to pray on it. Oh, this is really common. It depends where you are talking about. Where and what place. How do I know this company will last? And this is it.
George,
Yeah.
when I first had my real serious networking company, that was USANA. I mean, I asked that, oh my gosh, this sounds too good to be true. But then my sponsor, Colette, she said, Irene, think about it. There's hope. There's hope to do more than what you allowed yourself to dream to do. And I remember when I got my first $1,000 check, I didn't know whether I should cry or jump up and down and laugh. It was like almost unbelievable to me. And she said, well, and you can do it again. I mean, that just gave me so much hope. You know how powerful it is when someone realizes that what you've been telling them is true? It builds your faith, your courage, and your actions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it did for me. It lit a fire into me. And it was one of the most defining moments in my life when I could go and write a check for all of the bills and still have money left over.
Yeah.
You know, after struggling with the circumstance that we had. So I will ever be grateful for that feeling, because that's what I tap into every time I start to get a little down. I try to go back to that space in my life, that place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that feeling?
Oh, yeah. But this is something very important. It's not only to, when a person made the first $10, we had to celebrate it because, hey, you did this already. This is success. One day it's going to be twice that, 3 times, 4 times, 6 times. When my first check was $11.75, $11 with 75 cents, no, 1,175. And I was so darn excited. And my neighbor, my neighbor that I was trying to prospect, it was a couple. And they said, why are you so excited? I got my first check and this, that, doing it as a side business. Well, how much do you make? $11.75. And you could see the confused face of all of them. But I was so excited. So yeah, this is an extra $11.75. And I had a copy somewhere in a box, but celebrate. And remember, the objections are part of our regular, like we said at the beginning, you have a list of people, you are connecting with people, you're presenting, you are following up. It's part of our circle, but it's part of our life to have objections. And now the main important part is when we get a person in our business, is why we go through, we have our onboarding is in the past, we have it recorded anyway, where it's important when the person bring here, we work with them so close. Many people, they talk bad about network marketing because we bring them up and they never, it's like everything is a secret. We don't tell them anything else at all. They don't know that there's a training side. They don't know that you have a team that you're working with. They don't know any of that. And they say, oh, this didn't work for me because I didn't know anything. They tricked me. This is a scam. No, it's why we have to be so important close to the person and to get them into the system, to get them into the calls, because they see other people that are excited. And especially to start right. And the way to start right is onboarding that we have. It says make sure that the person bring 2 people ASAP as soon as possible, because you want them to make money right away. It's okay, bring your first 2 people who would you like to have as a partners. And although always we say bring first your spouse and your family first, and then you bring below. Unless they are going to build, they don't count. It's 2 people that you want to build the business with. Who are the 2 people that you would like to have with you, the first 2? And then you add 2 more and 2 or more until you have a whole team, and eventually everything's going in automatic pilot. And that's the way that duplication happens. Duplication happens to always make sure a person, okay, bring your first 2. Who are your first 2 people? Who the people that you want to work, people that you would love to work with. Now, it may happen that you call those people, and the people are going to say, no, okay, let's call the next 2, until you find those 2. Or connect with those 2 that they are going to be part of your team. But it's why it's funny when people say to me, I don't want to tell my family and friends. I say, come on. That means that if you win, you find a gold mine, you are going to place an ad in the paper and in the internet looking for strangers to share the profit of that gold mine. You share with your friends, you share with your family, with the people that are close to you. Look what I found. You can stay healthier, you can have more energy, you can have money, you can have more time freedom. That's why, and I know many times come from people that probably they were in the wrong company or in a scam, because sadly, so many people fall into scams. GSP Partners is an example. GSP Partners, in only a year and a half, it's a network marketing company, but it's a scam. Everybody knew a scam, but the people that were getting in, or Transcar, the car that went through Utah like crazy, because this guy Timothy Smith, because the guy is so nice. People were joining because he talks always about how spiritual he is. And guy has scammed people 3 times. And now Transcar was the 3rd one. Thousands of people, millions of dollars. And then they get into those scams. And then they think that that's network marketing. And I'm using Transcar and GSP because they went crazy through Utah. Because this guy, Tim Smith, lives in Utah. And he has started 3 scams. And he had never... he had the scams before the government got involved, although he was in probation one time for 1 year in the 90s. But anyway, that's why it's why when people say this is a pyramid, at the beginning, well, what is a pyramid? You ask them, and they say, oh, I'm glad we are not one of those. Any questions before we go? Okay, perfect.
Great job, George. Thank you for the new tool in the back.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, George. You're the best.
Oh, thank you. Okay, you're welcome.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you
George.
later.
Thanks,
Great.
Jeff, for being on here today.
Thank you, everybody.
And congratulations to Jeff. He enrolled his first person yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Jeff.
Yes. Do you want to share her name with the team and tell us a little bit?
Sure. Her name is Patricia Estes. She's a previous networker in Mona V, and she's excited about 3. That's what I want to say.
And Daniel Piku, you told me.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. She knew Daniel. So when she saw him speak, well, she was like, I'm in. He's a great guy.
Okay. Amazing. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm going to call you later this afternoon to make a call with her and to welcome to the thing. Not today. You tell me when would be a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. George, she went in for surgery yesterday, so she's going to be laid up for a few days. So maybe middle of next week or something we can.
Okay. Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much again, everybody, and make a great weekend. I talk to you later.